top DJs from Chicago and around the world.
It is in Chicago, after all, where the sounds of house were first sown.
We break bread, we have a few spirits, and we listen to some house music. What more could you ask for?
Where there is house, there's love. That's what they say about house music, which originated in Chicago 40 years ago. And every year in July, Chicago's South Lakefront Jackson Park becomes the epicenter of the house music universe as the chosen few DJs host their annual House Music Picnic and Festival, the largest festival dedicated to house music in the world. About 30,000 people show up every year. The chosen few DJs, of course, among the originators of house music. We're going to talk about the legacy, the story behind, the vibe of house music with one of those DJs, Alan King, lawyer by day, DJ by night. He's known for not speaking while he's DJing. He just lets the music speak for itself, and it speaks to your soul. But right now, he's going to speak to us about house music in other news. Chosen few DJs, who is my guest and my dear friend.
Yes, I am so happy to be here with you, my dear friend, today.
Thank you. And you know we're friends because this is the busiest week of his life. And he's taken time out to be on In Other News to talk about the festival coming up in a few days. You may be watching this after it's already over. I hope you got to see it. I hope you had a chance to go. So, Alan, this year's festival, again, the weekend after the 4th of July weekend, also celebrating the 40th anniversary of house music. Yeah. How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. We're trying to get ready, last minute preparations. And, you know, we did move the last couple of years because of NASCAR and mainly because there's such a drain on city resources with this NASCAR thing. And quite frankly, most of the cops like to come to our event.
That's right.
So they wanted us to move it too because they had to work NASCAR. So. Right. But yeah, it's been great. And last year we didn't skip a beat and probably had our largest year ever. And we're probably going to top that even this year. So
yeah, it could be a thing too, where people, you know, have other things to do on 4th of July.
Sure.
And so this kind of frees that up, and then they get two, you know, fabulous weekends in a row.
Yeah, we were always going up against the Essence Fest for one thing. So a lot of people had decisions. Am I going to go to New Orleans for Essence or am I going to do Chosen Few? And since we've moved a weekend later, you know, that's kind of taken care of that issue. So that's been a plus.
Because I know there was some consideration that, well, it could still be done on that weekend because NASCAR is up, you know, on the north side and we're down on the South Lakefront where they're not as used to having big events like this.
Right.
Yours are. You call it the people's event, right? But it's ours. It has been doing it there for a long time, kind of proving that you shouldn't just ignore certain parts of the city because it's the South Side. You know, that comes with a connotation.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things we are most proud of many of this event. So, you know, at least for the last 10 years or so, we've been putting tens of thousands of people in a park on the South Side of Chicago every year. And we literally have not had a single act of violence. We have not had a single security incident of any significance. And I think it's a tribute to house music. It's the music and the sort of community around house music is really all about sort of love and togetherness. Sounds like we're talking about hippie stuff like the 60s.
The Woodstock of
and a lot of people do refer to the event as the Woodstock of house music. But you know, there's a whole culture that surrounds house music that's just about the music. It's about love. It's about togetherness. It's about peace. And so, you know, folks who come to our event know what time it is and they know what to expect and what not to expect.
So it's very hard for me to define house music. I call it DJ created music, but it's also very hard to define the feeling that sometimes just like ripples through the crowd. You posted something on your Instagram that I said, this explains it because words can't explain it. And you said something about it, you know, that moment when that every DJ lives for. Just look at this moment. I think it's last year, but it could be any year. and that's how it felt. I mean, it was a feeling, okay. And we're trying. So Nick
Right.
Nonstop Nicholson is
Right.
our engineer
DJ
today.
Nick Nonstop over
He's
here.
a DJ house music, and everybody's like, okay, that was that. Says, no, wait for the moment. And
Yeah.
do you know when that moment is coming?
Sometimes you suspect, certain records you play and certain parts of records. So, I wasn't expecting necessarily the whole stage to be bouncing up and down, but I know how that part of that record hits, and as DJs, we number one, we love music, but number two, we're in love with, you know, moving people through music and getting reactions to what we do. So, you know, those kind of moments with that kind of crowd don't come along too often. So for DJs, that's about as good as it gets.
It comes around several times during the day at the Chosen Few
I
Picnic
suppose
and
that's
Festival.
true. Yeah.
I mean, we feel it, and you don't ever give any regard to how am I dancing, who am I dancing with, can I dance, am I on beat? It's none of that. You just feel it and go. It's amazing. And when you say DJs love music, so you're a founding member of the Chosen Few DJs, and I'm not supposed to have any favorites. So you're my favorite, Wayne's my favorite, Andre's my favorite.
I would say
Tony's
I'm
my
an
favorite.
early member of the Chosen Few DJs, not founding.
Not founding.
Wayne
Okay.
Williams is the founder, so I want to be clear about that.
Yeah, because Wayne, we got to give Wayne his credit because he was good, because he will get us.
Yes.
But
in the early years, Wayne founded the Chosen Few DJs in 1977. By 1980, it consisted of Wayne, Jesse Saunders, myself, Tony Hatchett, and Andre Hatchett. And then we went, 20 plus years before ever adding any new Chosen Few members, which was Terry Hunter, the next one, and then Mike Dunn after that.
and we can see why you added them. They are beasts.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. So,
Terry Hunter has been nominated for a Grammy Award 2 or 3 times.
three Grammy nominations the last 2 years. This past year, he was nominated for a remix he did for Mariah Carey, and then the year before, a remix for Beyonce. So Terry's kicking butt and helping to sort of raise the profile of house music around the country and the world. So.
He really is, and he's just released a new song with my future husband Dion Cole, and who I didn't know is also a DJ.
Oh yeah, Dion's definitely a DJ too. That's his first love, but he's finally coming out of the DJ closet in the last couple of years.
Well, now he's made some money as a comedian and an actor, right?
Yeah. So now he can play around with his toys and go online and all that. But those two cats are just nuts. I mean, if you all got to check out that record. It's called Post That.
Post That.
Post That.
Post that. This is a podcast. We can say it. Say post that
post
shit.
That shit.
Okay.
Post that shit.
And it's funny because you can just hear that coming out of Dion Cole's mouth. All right.
Exactly.
It sounds like the punchline of a joke. He will post that.
Post that.
No. Okay. I can't wait. So he was at the festival last year.
Yep.
So I would ask if he's going to be there this year, but you probably wouldn't tell me.
I would expect him to be there. I don't know actually, but yeah, if he's not working on a movie or something, knowing him, I'm sure he's going to be at the picnic
because it's so much fun. And you, we talked about the last 10 years or so, having hosted tens of thousands of people. It didn't start out as, hey, let's have a big festival and hope a bunch of people come and have sponsors and you were playing music for yourselves.
Yeah. So we started with this little picnic in the side of the Museum of Science and Industry, and it was the Hatchett family picnic. So
Andre and Tony,
and some of us had moved away and doing different things. Jesse was in LA, and Tony had moved to Houston. So people started saying, like, when can we hear you guys play again? Folks that knew us from back in our early Chosen Few 1.0 days, and
just out of high school days or
high school days. So we Tony said, well, my family does this picnic, family reunion at the museum, and so we invited ourselves to the Hatchett family reunion. But
you brought your turntables.
We brought turntables, and the first few years it was mainly we were playing music, but that was kind of the backdrop, and folks were throwing the football around and playing softball and
doing family reunion
stuff. And we just decided to keep doing it, and little by little, we probably had 30 people the first year, and a couple years in we had 300, and a couple more years we had 3,000. and it's just been an incredible organic thing. It's hard to even explain because a lot of it was even before the internet was that
Right.
popular, so or around at all. But so a lot of word of mouth and so forth. So what really happened in terms of we had zero plans of having a big music festival,
Hmm.
as you said. I mean, that never even crossed our minds, and we were just trying to keep up with the number of people that were coming every year. So we were, there were a few of us, one of whom you're looking at, that was pretty much funding things out of their own pockets,
Okay. It's getting a
and
little expensive, huh?
and it was getting very expensive. Wayne likes to say, if you have a dinner party for like 5 people to come over, it costs this, and then if you have one for 5,000 people,
It costs a
it
little
costs
more.
that.
Hmm.
So we got to a point, I would say, I don't know, 20 years in, where it became too big, too uncontrollable, too expensive, and we had a decision to make. We could either say, that was cool, it's a wrap, we
Hmm.
did our thing as far as we could take it, or these 7 brothers from the south side of Chicago and one lady, Kim Parham, sat
Kim is
down.
the sweetheart of the chosen few. Okay, be clear.
Yes, yes. But so, we had a decision to make. Do we call it a day, or do we figure out, like, how in the world do you put on a world class music festival? And I think that's what we have, is a world class music festival.
Absolutely.
And every year is a learning experience. We try to improve the experience every year. And there's a lot of people out there that think we make a whole lot of money and we charge too much and all those things. We don't. I mean, quite frankly, some years we make a little money, some years we don't.
Some music break even or a
But
little
yeah,
below.
but what we always do is primarily invest that money back into the picnic. And whether it's you know getting better, more high profile guests that people will want to come from around the world to hear this DJ or this performer or whatever. At this point, we're just, we feel like it's an event that's come to mean so much to so
Hmm.
many people that, like, even if we wanted to stop, we like feel like we can't stop.
You almost have to start training your kids up in it,
Well,
so
we
that it can.
do. I
Yeah,
mean, that's another
that's a
issue. I mean,
whole.
obviously, we're not getting any younger.
No,
Uh, some of us, anyway. You look exactly the
it's
same.
that house music. It's that house music.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But
But
so
the
that's
legacy of it.
that's a real concern. Not just what's going to happen with the picnic, but what's going to happen with house music generally in the next
Right.
generation. So
So, and we should, the significance of house music is not just what we just saw with people really feeling that music and that tune. The legacy of it is it really was a bridge builder between different genres and different peoples.
yeah,
So
no,
people
for
who
sure.
hadn't previously partied together,
Right.
and we now all know, because I guess we're smarter, research has told us that music is a unifier.
Right.
That people who don't speak the same language, you
Yeah.
DJ in Czechoslovakia someplace, don't you? I mean, you're invited all over the
Yeah.
world where it's
Croatia.
Croatia. There's a language difference, but the music is a
Yeah.
universal language.
Yeah.
I want to. There is. I can't. I've lost count of how many people are doing a documentary on house music. But there is a
Me
clip.
too.
You too. There is a. You'll be in it whenever it happens. There is a clip that was shared on the Chosen Few Instagram
Okay.
page, and I thought it was part of actual documentary coming out. But in fact, it's just kind of some documenting
Yeah.
interviews.
Actually, I think those were last year leading up to the picnic.
Okay.
Mike Dunn organized interviews with all the chosen few members to kind of talk about our legacy and background. And I think our man Mo, who does our video and
Hmm.
graphics, kind of chopped those interviews up and made a nice video out of it.
So
So
we've edited it to be a
okay,
little shorter. And the one
sure,
thing I hate about that, people can go to the Chosen Food Instagram if they want to see the whole thing, is that we edited out Frankie Knuckles,
sure.
and that's kind of some rare footage of him talking about him learning about what is this thing they're calling house music.
Right,
The music I'm playing, you're calling house music.
right,
Okay,
right.
so take a listen to Wayne Williams explaining about the bridge building.
straight kids were homophobic. So only the kids who were more progressive got into that music at first. But the straight kids called that music, they weren't calling it disco. Because back then, you only heard that music at people's houses, basement parties that they would do, or at their high school parties, because we were too young to go to clubs. They were calling it house music because they would hear it out parties in Pill Hill and Hyde Park and Jeffrey Manor and Jackson Highlands and places like that. They were literally calling disco house music.
You saying the term house music didn't come from the warehouse?
No, man, no. The warehouse didn't become popular, especially with heterosexuals, till late 79, 80. Fred Cannon took me to the warehouse before Frankie even got there. Being one of the first, not the first, because I can't claim that, but one of the first straight guys that went to the warehouse. When I went to the warehouse, Robert was the DJ, Robert Williams, who was the owner. And then later on, he brought Frankie, right? Okay. Frankie knew it as disco music too. He didn't know it because he wasn't on the South Side scene like that. He didn't know disco is house music. Right. In fact, he's on video saying, what is house music?
When was the first time you heard somebody refer to house music?
Maybe 80, 81, somewhere around there. I was in the car with a friend of mine going to his house out on the South Side, and we were at a stoplight, and there was a tavern on the corner that had a sign in the window that said, "We play house music." That was the first time I heard it. Well, I saw it, and I asked him what it was, and he said, "Is that music you play down there at that club?" I was like, "Excuse me?"
There you have it. So some perhaps confusing beginnings of what we all know as house music. Is there a definition of house music?
You would think there would be a very simple definition of house music, but Wayne was just in the clip alluding to where in his experience, and I won't take away from his experience, he started hearing music referred to as house because it was played in people's houses. The first time I heard the term house associated with music was in reference to the warehouse where Frankie Knuckles was the resident DJ, and people would talk about certain music being the kind of music you'd hear at the warehouse, and then people start calling it house for short,
warehouse
short
music.
For warehouse. So that goes back to the late 70s, which begs the question this year: why is everybody saying this is the 40th anniversary of house music? Again, because it depends on how you define house music. So what I have come to learn, apparently, from music historians and people that are in the music business, that you don't have an official genre of music until you have released music commercially for people to buy. So whether that's right or not, that's what a lot of people say. So
gospel wasn't gospel till it got on an album, and
yeah,
right.
So arguably, and it's certainly my recollection and view, that Jesse Saunders released the first commercial record called On and On that fit the what came to be known as house music. It's the 4 on the floor, drum machine driven, and there were tons of people that followed shortly after. From Wayne put out his own record, Chip E, Steve Silk Hurley. You had you had Nick Nicholson for sure, right? Jack, my bad.
Okay, I want you to turn the camera around, Nick, so people can see you. And we also have some other special guests here today.
I definitely want to get to the special guests because we have the Duchess of House Music in the house.
The Duchess of House, and who's Linda Red.
Yes.
If I can use your real name, ain't nobody looking for you. Not America's Most Wanted, nothing like that. Okay. And Monica,
aka Missy,
and you have on a new cap that I haven't seen yet. We hope will be available. But you guys had the White Sox. Chicago White Sox had the chosen few DJs at a game, and they've been doing that for a few years. So these were the signs you all made to hold up. You are. I won't call you house groupies, okay? But it has a negative connotation. But you are part of the group, okay? You are definitely part of the group, and with that joy that people feel when they're out there dancing. That's what you guys give. You've been around since they've been around?
Absolutely.
Dancing to the music. So I got one question, and they may not be able to hear your answer. What do you do to prepare for the marathon that is the Chosen Few picnic in July? What do? You get extra sleep? Do you eat your Cheerios? It's all day, y'all.
Linda doesn't sleep.
Not that much sleep because it's a party the night before.
Prepping, especially if I make food, chicken salad.
Oh, she's making chicken salad. That's for you?
She's the bomb. She makes legendary chicken salad.
And everything together, our chairs and.
Oh, and I can't wait to see you on Saturday. So sorry we don't have you mic'd up, but you all look for them and you'll know you're in the right place on Saturday. So thank you so much for being here. Marianne goes with me every year. We call her the Energizer Bunny because when she starts dancing, most of us take a little break. She doesn't take any breaks. I'm like checking her bag for she got some dope in there. What's keeping you going? Yeah. So I appreciate you guys being here. I cannot wait for Saturday. And I should stop now because I try to keep this podcast under 30 minutes. But I can't stop without asking you about the appropriation of house music. I asked you to define it. It's really hard to define, but would it be safe to say that it is the basis of electronic music, which is become so popular worldwide?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
EDM, electronic dance music, is certainly built on the foundations of house music. It's the same kind of electronically driven music,
except it doesn't sound as good.
Although most of that stuff, what it lacks is the soulfulness of house music. And one of the things I always say why I believe, I like other genres of music, but why house music is the best, because house music takes the best from every other genre of music. House music is gospel influenced, it's jazz influenced, it's rock and roll influenced. Whatever any genre of music has to offer, we make it work in house music. So almost by definition, that's why it's the best.
But there was no EDM before there was house music.
Oh,
right?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
And I also looked up the top 10 highest paid DJs in the world, and it goes from like 55 million up to 240 million, and it's all EDM.
It's all EDM. It's all not people of color. It is not
even
pioneers
this guy, Afrojack,
or
he's not a person of color.
I don't even know.
Sounds like it.
Jack is.
I'm gonna look it up. But if he's calling himself Afro something and he's not black, I got a problem with that too. So I'm hoping he is.
I don't think so.
Get ready. Yeah, we're coming for you. No, but it's.
But and that's I don't begrudge anybody's success, and they're getting their paper, but there's a whole obviously multi-million billion-dollar economy that's out there around this music that was created in Chicago. And unfortunately the pioneers and the creators and the people of color are not participating in this economy, which is not too different from
everything else. Exactly. We talk the truth here. We talk about joy and fun.
Let's tell it what it is.
Okay, it is what it is. But it is an amazing event, and I'm looking forward to it this Saturday. I should, on all disclosure, the conflict of interest, call it what you want. I get on stage and MC because I can't DJ and I can't dance and I can't sing, so I have to do something. And one thing I've noticed is that we do keep those breaks in between acts because you guys have some amazing live performers every year. And this year is no exception. I don't have to make a commercial for it because you aren't sold out, are you?
Nope.
Okay, so the lowest price ticket is what?
$80 now. We started with an early bird ticket at $40. We went to $60, and it's now the only thing that's left is general admission tickets, which are $80. Everything else, VIP, reserved 10 spaces, all of that is sold out. But we will never sell out of just the ticket to get into the event and set up your tent and set up your grill and do your thing, whatever you want to do. So
set up your groove.
You can get tickets at chosenfewdjs.com or at the gates on Saturday.
And before we start complaining about the price of the ticket, I want y'all to check out the price of Lollapalooza. Okay, so Alan King, you are my man. Lawyer by day, we didn't even talk about that. DJ by night, and one of the most popular shows on Twitch on Saturday Night Live with Alan King. Thank you so much, the Duchess and Princess of house music, for joining us. All right, and thanks so much to my landlord. That's the Lord of the land, Sybil Holloway, for having me here in No-Tell private co-working space. And I'll see you all. You can watch this, share it. Don't forget to subscribe because we can't just do it forever for free. As the Chosen Few DJs found, I really do enjoy those sharing with you. And we'll have a new one every Wednesday, usually at noon. Today it was at 3 because we had a VIP who had to go see the Chicago Sky game. Gotta tell the truth and shame the devil.
Exactly.
Bye-bye, everybody. You are wonderful.